I'm Andrew Hanson. I served in Iraq from 2006 to 2007 and was injured in 2007. Subsequently, I lost my legs in Iraq due to a roadside bomb and spent 10 months at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. After I got out, the first thing I wanted to do was get fishing. Growing up, seeing Lunds all the time, my grandpa had a Lund and pretty much everybody I knew had a Lund. I always knew that's what I wanted to get, was a Lund. And fortunately, after I got out, eventually, after I'd recovered far enough, I was able to get myself a Lund boat. And since then, I've spent as much time on the water as possible, targeting anything from walleyes to trout to bass, panfish, pike, muskie, you name it. And I love it. I can't imagine life without fishing, to be honest with you.
That's a nice fish.
So I grew up in southwest Minnesota, and there was not a lot of lakes around. Usually I had to drive about an hour to get to a decent lake. So I spent a lot of my youth, going out to sand pits and fishing for bass, maybe pike, panfish. After I medically retired from the military, I kept fishing more and more and expanding where I fished and started heading north and west. Being in southwest Minnesota, I'd fish the Missouri River out in central South Dakota quite often. I'd come up to Mille Lacs quite often, a lot of lakes up in the Brainerd region. I just kept trying to expand and learn new lakes and try new species. When I was still recovering out at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., I got a surprise phone call from Gary Roach, Mr. Walleye himself. You can about imagine my surprise as a kid growing up watching things like the PWT and following some of the major professional fishermen. I was really surprised, I was really happy, and on my first leave from the hospital, once I had recovered far enough to be able to come back home and visit, I made the trip up to Mille Lacs, and him and I got out on the water and had an amazing day catching nonstop. Probably, couldn't put our line in the water for more than 10 seconds without catching. It was a great way to spend my leave. And after that, it just kind of created a friendship that we've kept going for close to 20 years now. Eventually, we started fishing, Gary Roach and I, we started fishing, trolling for the troops, which is done out of Camp Ripley here in Minnesota. And it's a tournament for veterans, whether disabled or just had served. And we did pretty well most years, but more than anything, we had a really great time. Eventually, I contacted Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. If you remember, Jared Allen played with the Vikings for quite a few years, and he had an organization that helped build homes for soldiers that had lost their legs, lost limbs, or had severe injuries that really limited their activities of daily living. That's how eventually I got involved with Lund, and that's been really great. They've just treated me like family, to be honest with you. I can't ask for more from them. They've just been tremendous. We went out fishing by his house after he was done with practice with the Vikings. We went out for an afternoon, and he started asking me questions about what boats I prefer, what boats I like, and he was kind of cryptic about it, and I didn't really think much of it. When we got done remodeling the house and had the big ribbon cutting ceremony, he asked me to walk into the garage and hang out there for a while, and I had no idea what was going on. And finally, when they opened the garage door, Lund had showed up, and they had brought a Lund Rebel 1650 XL, and they donated it to me. And since then, I've rigged it up the way that it works great for me. I've got all the electronics and all the trolling motor, for example, is an Altera. I can deploy that without having to get all the way up on the bow, and a lot of other features that just allow me to move around the boat very easily. I've had my Lund 1650 Rebel XL now for about 11 years, and I take it just about anywhere. Every year my dad and I, we take a trip up in Ontario and spend a week up there fishing, and always have a blast, catch lots of walleye, lay trout, whitefish, you name it. Great time, great boat. Now that I've been out of the military for so many years and been pretty well recovered, fishing is a huge part of my life, and I can't imagine living without it.